I'm Jared Haynes, and this is Rogue Outdoors. Today I have 5 of the top bino harnesses on the market here in front of me, and I'm going to tell you which one of them is the best. The bino harnesses we're going to cover in this video from right to left are going to be the Stone Glacier Skyline in the small size, the Marsupial Gear Enclosed in the small size, the Q bino harness by Safari Tough, the Alaskan Guide Creations Kodiak Cub Max, and then the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. To determine which one of these bino harnesses is the best, I've come up with 8 different categories that I'm going to use to score each one individually, and then at the end add up the points. The categories that I'm going to go over are price, weight, lid closure, back comfort, chest comfort, the sound when opening it with and without gloves, the buckles that they use, and the accessories that you can get to fully kit these out if you so choose. At the end, we're going to add up all the points, and I'm going to tell you which one of these bino harnesses wins. However, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert right up front. Scores don't always mean the absolute best. There's going to be a few different scenarios where one might work better than the others, and I'm going to cover that at the end of the video. Right out of the gate, let's start with the price category. So this is going to be the bino harnesses without any added on extra accessories. So coming in at the lowest price, you're going to have the Stone Glacier Skyline at $119. The next one is going to be the Alaskan Guide Creations Kodiak Cub Max at $127. Coming in third is going to be the Marsupial Gear Fully Enclosed, which is going to be $135. In fourth, you have the Safari Tough Q, which is going to be $150. And topping out the price charts at $160 is going to be the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. The second category that I want to cover is going to be the optics harness weight. So this is going to be with no added on accessories, just what it would ship with. So the Stone Glacier Skyline is going to come in first at 8.8 ounces. Second, we're going to be going to the Safari Tough at 12.61 ounces. In third, we're going to be looking at the Marsupial Gear at 14 ounces. Then we're going to move over to the Alaskan Guide Creations at 16.39 ounces. And then coming in last at 17.3 ounces is going to be the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. However, the 2 heaviest are also the ones that have a built-in rangefinder pouch in the front and some accessories on the side, or the rangefinder pouches on both sides. These other ones, if you wanted to carry a rangefinder, you would need to add that, obviously upping the weight. The next category we're going to take a look at is lid closure. I'm going to measure this without and with a glove on, and I'm trying to see if you can do this one-handed without having to look down at the binocular pouch. So my first and favorite pick is going to be the Marsupial Gear Enclosed. This is a magnetic closure system. It has a tab up here on the top that's easy to find. You can bring it down, close it to the bottom where it just magnetizes. That makes it easy to then retrieve the binoculars or place them back in. And then you re-find that pull tab, come up, and it will remagnetize over the top. I've found that the enclosed has no issues getting that full seal on the Swarovski ELs 10x42, which are a pretty long binocular. And as you'll find here in just a little bit, a few of the bino harnesses do struggle with that. Now with a glove on, I'm still able to easily find that tab and create that good seal on the bottom. No issues retrieving the binoculars out or placing them back in. And the same goes for closing it back up. It's easy to find that tab and close the top. I now have a good secure seal where I would feel comfortable crawling on the ground, completing a stalk, and not having my binoculars fall out. My second favorite lid system is going to be the Stone Glacier. It has an easy pull tab to find. Roll that over, and then you can remove the binoculars out nice and easy. Easy to reclose by finding that tab and coming up over the top. And with the glove on, it's just as easy. That pull tab stays in a nice upright position. You're able to then retrieve your binoculars out, place them back in, find that pull tab nice and easy, and come up over the top to get a nice closure. One thing to note with the Stone Glacier is if you're using a binocular with a bridge system, like the Swarovski ELs have, you do want to break in the very front plastic piece right here. That way, when you pull it out, this bridge bump does not get caught. If you're using a binocular that does not have the bridge, you will never notice this and there's no break-in period needed. My third favorite lid closure method is going to be the Alaskan Guide Creations. The thing that I find with this one is it does have a nice pull tab and release system. This is a style that opens towards your chest, which makes it a little bit harder to use one-handed because you have to hold that lid back out of the way. And if you do use the top section here where you could put a cell phone or heavier items like that, it does make it quite a bit harder because that will then bump into the shoulder strap connections. However, it is able to be done one-handed, and I have used this bino harness fairly often and been able to, out in the field, one-handed use it. Now with the glove, finding that tab is still pretty easy, and the open method and reclosure to get it back in can be done with a glove as seen here. However, it is definitely going to be a little bit harder to find that pull tab. You may have to look down to figure out where it's at to get that full seal. Once it is closed though, you are definitely comfortable to crawl around on the ground, make those stalks, and not feel like your binoculars are going to have a chance of falling out. Coming in fourth is going to be the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. It has an easy tab to find on the front. It is also a system that opens towards your chest, which can make it a little bit harder to retrieve those binoculars. However, you are able to get them out and get them back in. Finding the closure can be a little bit hard because there's these two different sections to try and close it on. And a side note is going to be with the EL size binoculars, since this is a one size fits all, they don't have multiple sizes, you do have to have the eye cups all the way down to be able to secure the bino harness closed, which is a little bit of a drawback if you're running bigger binoculars. And with a lightweight glove, you're still able to find that connection tab, open the lid, pull out your binoculars, replace them back into the pouch, and reclose the system so that you get a nice secure closure. And coming in last place is going to be the Safari Tough Q bino harness. So you're able, without gloves on, to easily use this binocular harness. So if you're going to be using it in warm weather areas, this is a very quiet and easy to use system. However, the reason it's coming in last place is going to be because of how hard it is to use with a glove. Even a lightweight, tight to the skin glove like this attack glove is, when I'm trying to place this hook down on the very bottom hook, it becomes very hard because you catch your thumb as you're trying to roll that over. Getting the binoculars out is still nice and easy, but re-getting that string down here on the bottom is extremely hard and cumbersome, as well as finding that top knot up here to rehook this loop can be very difficult with a glove on. If you get an any bit bulkier glove than something tight to the fingers like this, it's almost impossible to hook that bottom latch and to replace this other one without using two hands and taking quite a bit of time to make sure you get it hooked. Now let's talk about back comfort. So the Stone Glacier is going to be my first pick when it comes to back comfort. As you can see here, the Stone Glacier has a very long back profile, which brings these straps well below my shoulder blades, which are right up here, which gives me a good range of motion. So combined with the lightweightness of this harness and that lower back portion, this thing just sits rock solid and allows free and open movement where I don't have to continually keep readjusting this on my chest and on my back all day. It stays put where you put it in the morning. Coming in a very close second is going to be the Marsupial Gear enclosed system. So this one also has a lower sitting back section, but as you can see, they go a different route, having kind of the central block right here, but this still keeps my shoulder blades free, and it sits nice and solid with its lock system. And being a mild weight bino harness, it does not pull down in the front, which allows nice easy movement and me not having to adjust up and down all day long. I've been very pleased with how this sits once you lock it in. My third place pick is going to be the Alaskan Guide Creations Kodiak Cub Max. It's a fairly similar system to the Stone Glacier, where it's going to have a little bit longer system right here. And it does come down and keep the straps off of your shoulders. It locks in fairly good. However, it is a little bit heavier duty, more coverage of a system, especially as you come up over the shoulder straps. They're going to be a little bit thicker, a little bit warmer material. And the biggest drawback to this one is because all the weight is centralized right here in the front, once you put a rangefinder in here, whatever you put in the max pocket, it does pull down, and that tends to have this ride up a little bit. So I do find multiple times throughout the day, I will give it a little pull, kind of reset it up a little bit. However, the straps do not move over to the side once you have them locked in. They do stay off the shoulder blade. They just come up a little bit higher on the back, which creates a little bit of discomfort. Again, just making you have to pull it back up a couple times throughout the day. Coming in a close fourth, right behind the Alaskan Guide Creations, is going to be the Q harness from Safari Tough. So this one runs back towards that center block system, and it does hold pretty good once you have it set up on your shoulders. However, for me, this block is a little bit high up, which means these come off closer to the shoulder blade than the other three previous to it. So I do on occasion, like if I'm drawing my bow back, feel a little bit of the top of this strap every once in a while, which is why I placed it right behind the Alaskan Guide Creations when it comes to back comfort. But by no means is this something that I find uncomfortable in the field. It just adds a little bit of nuance to where you will end up messing with it and kind of rearranging it throughout the day more times than you would the previous three. And coming in last place is going to be the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. This harness has a whole mess of stuff going on here in the back. It doesn't actually seem to interfere much throughout all my testing and time wearing it with your shoulder blades. But what gets really annoying is all of these straps constantly twisting or not being in the right place, having to adjust them. I believe this one right here, it feels a little twisted up to me, but if you're just out there hunting by yourself, it is a major pain in the butt to try and unwind that, find behind your back, not let it get twisted. So that's why it's in last place. It does actually sit once you get it on, or if you have somebody to help you strap those straps in the back and get them untwisted, it will stay in that position. But if you're out there by yourself, it can be a major pain in the butt, and if you have your backpack pushing against a twisted strap all day, it can really get annoying and wear on your skin. Now that we've covered the back comfort section, the other half of that is obviously going to be your chest, so let's move to the chest comfort category. Coming in first place is going to be the Stone Glacier. So if you take the back comfort section where it placed first place and really locks in those straps on the back, combine that with its ultra lightweight body, that's going to make for a very lightweight, breathable system on your chest. It stays up nice and high, and it doesn't push in down in your stomach area. It stays put up high. Now if you add a lot of accessories onto this, it's obviously going to make it a little bit heavier, but if you run it in the lightweight configurations that it's designed to be run in, then it would be my #1 pick. Coming in second place is going to be the marsupial gear. So the marsupial gear is a very interesting one to be bumped up into second place, because even when you're running it in this full setup with a hand warmer muff, or if you put a holster or whatever down there, it manages the weight very well. So it stays nice and high on your chest, and it allows like the hand warmer muff or holster to move freely. So if you're sitting in a vehicle or in a chair, it's not just digging into your gut. It can kind of push out a little bit. And when you take the accessories off and run just like a rangefinder pouch, it's a very close second to the Stone Glacier, which is that ultralight setup. But because this material is a little bit thicker, it does hold in a tiny bit more heat, and it is a tiny bit heavier, so you do notice it a little bit more on the chest. That's why it's bumped back into that second place position. But by far, if you're running a lot of accessories, this is the #1 pick, and it's a very, very comfortable ride. Third place is going to be the Safari Tough Bino harness. So it's a fairly lightweight system, so it does feel pretty good on the chest. It's a pretty breathable system where it doesn't seem to trap in the heat, even though it has this kind of a suede, soft touch fabric on it. The reason that I'm putting it into third place is just because with the shoulder straps, it does allow it to move a little bit more down the chest, and I can feel that. The other thing is on the back side right here, where the top elastic band is for this pocket, there's a little bit of a bump right there, and depending on the weight of the binoculars that I'm running, I can feel that every once in a while if I put a little bit of gear in here, some licenses or whatever, and it bulks this out. I can feel that band. It's not perfectly flush up to the top because it kind of curves in. So that's going to put it into third place. Coming in fourth place in the chest comfort category is going to be the Alaskan Guide Creations. So this pack is designed to hold everything all in one, which gives you a lot of real estate on the sides over towards backpack straps and things like that. But the problem that you run into, or at least I run into, is because I have a smaller chest and torso, this tends to slide down, combined with the back straps as well, that allow just a little bit more movement. This pack ends up down on my gut area more often, and so if I'm sitting, or if I'm in a car, those kind of things, it starts to really wear down on my stomach, having all that weight, because you've got to think, you've got binoculars, rangefinder, accessories on each side, possibly your phone or a wind meter. Down in the max pocket, I normally have my ring that hooks up to my spotting scope so I can put my phone on there. All that combines together to be a really heavy system right in the front. So where it does pack the accessories in an organized manner, I think that also kind of hurts it depending on your body type, because that allows it to slide down. I like bino harnesses to stay up high on the chest, and this one I notice I have to keep moving up. So that's going to put it in fourth place. Coming in fifth place is going to be the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. So this harness has a long back section right here that's all one piece, and that really traps in the heat. And the problem I have with that is, one, it's trapping in the heat so you can sweat up easier, have to change your layers more often. But two, even if you drop the accessory pouches off the side, you still have this back section that's over on each side plate, which is going to be trapping in that heat. There's no way to get rid of that. It does sit fairly low. Trying to get it up high didn't seem to work for me. It always tends to come back down low. But because everything's spaced out, it actually doesn't put too much weight on the gut area. But it just traps in so much heat. And for anybody that has a smaller chest like me, as you can see here, if I put this up on my chest, it is really taking up a lot of room. And on like a Stone Glacier backpack where the straps come down basically and rotate around part of the side of your chest, you can be bumping into this trying to run the shoulder straps on the backpack up and down. So because of that, the Sitka is going to come in last place. Our next category is going to be a sound test. So I'm going to do two different things on this. I'm going to do a scratch test as well as open and close the lid. Now this material is not the quietest out of all these packs, but because of how quiet the closure system is, it actually makes up some ground. So let's go ahead and listen to it. Now the biggest thing on this one is making sure that as the magnets close here on the back, you do not let it snap down. You want to make sure that you take your hand and slowly release it, and that'll make sure that this stays quiet. The outside material on this is a pretty soft fabric, so it keeps, if things bang against the binoculars, it keeps them safe, but also gives a little bit of compression so you don't hear any clinking type noises. This is a very quiet and my #1 pick binocular harness. Coming in second place is going to be the Stone Glacier Skyline. So this one's material, go ahead and listen to it. A little bit louder than the marsupial gear, but it's going to have a very smooth opening system and a very smooth closure. There's no ability for this to snap down like with the magnets. So as long as you are quiet with the other one and take your time, it beats out the Stone Glacier. However, if you're accustomed to just letting it go and snapping it, then this would be my #1 pick, but because I take my time, this comes in second for the overall sound. Coming in third, we've got the Kodiak Cub Max from Alaskan Guide Creations. Go ahead and listen to this. This is a louder Cordura material. The lid closure and opening system can be very quiet. However, where it can get noisy is with these buckles. If you have something up top, it will definitely clink against these. So that makes it to where you have to run this naked, or sometimes I will put like my dope chart up in the top, which is basically a piece of paper, so it won't clink against this. But if you do put your phone up here, it does become quite a bit noisier. Now in fourth place is the Safari Tough Q Bino harness. Now this one is kind of an interesting situation. It is by far the quietest bino harness. Listen to the outside. But what gives this and made me put it in fourth place, unfortunately, is the closure mechanism here on the top. If I'm running it with hands, as I showed earlier, this can be extremely quiet. But as soon as you put gloves on, it becomes an extremely noisy process to get past these buckles on the backside and hook this little hook, as well as it gets very noisy down here on the bottom side when you're trying to fiddle around with the gloves. So if that can be remedied, then this would be the #1 pick when it comes to noise, being quiet for a bino harness. But unfortunately, because right now the way that hook closure is set up, I had to put it in fourth place. And in last place, the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. Anytime you're running plastic on plastic, it's going to be a little bit noisy. So let's go ahead and hear the outside. It's actually a fairly quiet outside material. But like I said, it's the plastic on plastic clamps right here that can make noise as you're trying to dig them into that lock mechanism. And it's very hard to look over the top and try and see them to do it quietly. And then to add on top of that, when I have my ELs in here, they are at the absolute tallest, even with the eye cups closed down, that this can handle. And so I'm really having to stretch this little piece right here to clip it on. And that again makes it just that much louder. For the next category of buckles, the Safari Tough, the Alaskan Guide Creations, the Marsupial Gear, and the Stone Glacier are all going to get a first place tie for this one. So they all run a locking type buckle like this right here. This is the ones on the shoulder straps on the side. The Stone Glacier does run a little bit lower profile and different type lock on the top, but they all lock and hold the bino harness in place once you've made that adjustment so that it's not slipping out in the field. The one that is going to lose a few points right here is going to be the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. This one just runs normal clips on the side that do not lock, so you are able to have these loosen as you're out in the field, which is a little bit cumbersome, as well as this has a lot of buckles on it that can make it a little bit more cumbersome trying to snap into all those places and get those straps to stay put. And our last category is going to be the accessory category. By far and away, Marsupial Gear is going to be the first place winner in this. So they're saying is we have a pouch for that, and boy do they have really high quality accessories as well as a good variety. So as you can see here, I have the hand warmer muff attached to the bottom of this binocular harness. You could also attach their bear spray or a handgun holder on top of this, or you could remove this and put it on by itself. I have a rangefinder pouch. I have their small accessory pouch. They do offer glasses pouches, a large accessory pouch, a bunch of other accessories, and all of them are really well-designed ecosystems. So like this hand warmer pouch, you can wear it by itself, or when you have this on your chest, it is free-flowing, so if you're sitting down, it kind of just stretches out. It doesn't poke into your gut. They really looked at how to make this a comfortable ecosystem so you can add or remove pieces depending on the hunt that you're going out for. If you want this lightweight, take them off. If you want to add on a few pieces here and there and balance out weights and change how that's going to work, go ahead and do it. They have an accessory for you, and this will be my #1 pick. In the accessory world, you're going to have a very close second and third place, but I'm going to give second place to the Alaskan Guide Creations. They've built really good holster, bear spray attachments, and then they have done a good job adding the accessories into this binocular harness. Out of all the harnesses that are kind of a do-it-all-in-one and include kind of side pouches here, the rangefinder pouch, and an accessory pouch all built in, I think they did a really good job for keeping this riding pretty comfortable for having so much weight built in. Stone Glacier is going to be my very close third place call right here. So they make a bear spray attachment, they make a rangefinder pouch, which you could also buy a second one of and throw it on the other side to be an accessory pouch if you wanted, and you can hook a holster down here to the bottom if you so chose. But the thing that I really like that Stone Glacier did is all of their accessories are lightweight to match the binocular harness. So they didn't go overboard and say, hey, we've got a really light bino harness, now let's build some super heavy duty overbuilt accessories. They knew what their market is, which is getting into the backcountry, staying lightweight, but still very durable and functional accessories. And so they went with that, and boy, did they get a good package. So I put this in third because they don't make a huge range of accessories, but they do make very high quality ones. So like I said, it's a very close third. It's tied right there neck and neck with the Alaskan Guide Creations, but one had to win out, so this will be my third place pick. My fourth place pick is going to be the Safari Tough Q Bino Harness. They do make a rangefinder pouch, which is the quietest rangefinder pouch I've heard on the market. Go ahead and take a listen to this. Absolutely quiet, and I like that they paired that up with the quiet binocular harness. However, this is really the only accessory that they offer at the moment. This is still an evolving product for Safari Tough, and so I expect they'll have more accessories that you can add on in the future, but for right now this will be my fourth place pick because they are slightly limited on the accessories if you want to add all sorts of other options. And coming in last place is going to be the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. So it does come with 2 accessory pouches. However, the problem is that's about where the accessories stop. They don't offer a lot of other accessories or even ways to attach those accessories to this optics harness. And if you do remove the 2 side pouches, which you can do, you're still stuck with these bat wings on the side, which trap in the heat. It doesn't really allow you to scale this down if you want to go ultra light, or to build it up further if you want to add other accessories like bear spray or a firearm to this. So because of that, I'm going to put it in the last place position. Now that we've made it through all the categories, let's go ahead and add up the points. I designed this to be like a golf scenario where low point is going to be the winner. So the first place binocular harness coming in with only 12 points is going to be the Stone Glacier. The second place coming in with 14 points is going to be the Marsupial Gear Enclosed. The third place is going to be the Alaskan Guide Creations with 22 points. In fourth place with 27 points is going to be the Safari Tough Q. And then coming in last place with 36 points, quite a few more than all the others, is going to be the Sitka Mountain Optics harness. Now, like I said at the start of the video, there is a little bit of a caveat here. So points-wise, the Stone Glacier is going to be the best ranked if you look through all the different categories. However, I do believe that these optics harnesses are situational. So if I'm going to be on an ultralight hunt and I don't need some of the accessories that the Marsupial Gear can offer, then I'm definitely going to be running the Stone Glacier. However, if I do want to be out in cold weather or I want to have the extra accessories, I would definitely go with the Marsupial Gear. It is a very close competitor to the Stone Glacier. It has some pros and it has some cons, so you'd have to decide. Basically, it's going to come down to the weight a tiny bit. If you want the ultralight weight, go with the Stone Glacier. If you're okay with a little bit heavier weight, even without the accessories, then the Enclosed by Marsupial Gear would be the way to go. But if you need those accessories, like this hand warmer muff or some of the others, you've got your option here. And if you want a bino harness that is going to be all in one and you don't want to be branching out into the real estate of your sides, then the Alaskan Guide Creations is going to be the way to go for you there. So these three are so close in points, in my opinion, I would suggest either one of them is very, very good, and it's going to fit to what you need it to do out in the field. So I hope you liked this review. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more content like this coming out soon. Thank you for watching.